We will be speaking with plumber extraordinaire Cromwell David. He will be educating us on the ins and outs of plumbing.
Yep.
Cromwell, welcome to Good Morning SKN. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Morning, welcome. Thanks for being here.
All right, so plumbing, a field that we tend to overlook, as I just said. When people have problems, it's when we think, oh, we need a plumber. When did you get into plumbing?
Well, it's a long story. Started in 1982 when I left school.
You were just coming in.
Wanted to obtain a skill, but at that time it was the technical college instead of. So I had applied when I left school to the technical college, but I didn't got through for the first year because there was an issue with a teacher who taught the first year student. So I had to leave. And during 2082 until 84, I was doing odd jobs, construction. Then I got a part-time job with a plumber. But while I was on the construction, I was the same. I have to tell you how I reached there, because the same person who taught me in college was the plumber on the same construction site.
That's interesting.
Right? So, doing construction as a laborer, you go around and see what, and that intrigued me. Then I went and worked with a friend of mine's dad was a plumber and part-time, but then he left and went away. So, bouncing around for almost 2 years, I decided I'm going to try the police force.
So you left plumbing?
No, I didn't enter the plumbing as fully as that time. So between 82 and 80.
Yes,
I tried different things.
Okay.
So I entered the police training school exam. But in those days, police, you have to be a certain height.
Oh.
And I was just off about an inch, so they didn't accept me.
Oh.
Right? Although I did pass the exam, they didn't accept me. So in 84, the opportunity came to go back to college.
Nice.
And I went, and that's where I got the opportunity.
And here we are 4 decades later.
I know.
And here we are 4 decades later, lots of experience.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned in the intro, a plumber's job doesn't start from damage control. When does it start?
Well, a plumber, people look at a plumber as just a simple skill. Like you call a plumber, tell you have a problem, and the plumber come and solve it, and that's it. But that's not it. It's a job that you have to put a lot of time into. And while I was in college, they taught us that plumbing is money.
Yes,
and money is time. So if I given a job as to install a toilet or something within that, I have to manage the time as well as to manage the person money who's spending it, right? So plumbing is just not sticking a pipe and that's it.
Oh, there you go. So then it's not that. What is it?
It's more than, it's a skill that you would enjoy doing.
So what do you do, like typically?
I installation, which in terms of like, you're doing a building and you want a layout. Now, sometimes you may get a plan from a contractor.
Yes.
The plan doesn't show you the layout or the where you need to put, it shows you the fixtures and the bathrooms, but as a plumber, you have to know the blueprint, lay out the plumbing in the way you wanted it, that in case the owner have a problem, the plumber could go and say, well, I run here and I put here. So you have to incorporate laying out the building, because the contractor doesn't do that. That's the role of the plumber. So if you don't have that knowledge as to how to go about setting it out, you end up doing things that not necessary.
So that's the reason why if you were the plumber on the building and there is a plumbing issue, you'll be the one that they'll call, because you will know exactly where in that building to dig, at least to find that problem.
Yes, that's why I said before that you need to lay out the system, the piping in such a way that it may be more easier for, not even for you alone, but because sometimes I might get a job and I do the plumbing, but then they get someone else. No, that person who comes onto the job must be able to find a way simpler for them to know that this is where the guy is. Because I have been to a lot of places, jobs, you know, and I have difficulties obtaining what was done. You know, so when you're doing something, you have to put it in a simple form that somebody who comes behind will be able to follow from there.
Okay.
All right, so you're a plumber, as we've said time and time again. What people viewing us right now probably want to know is, we don't want to call you when we have a problem. We want to know how we can take care of our pipes. We want to know how we can do those things.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about, mostly people have problems with water issue. When I say water issue, I mean like they complain they have high bills and they decide they don't have a leak, right? But one of the things that carry up water in terms of high bill, I mean usage really, but the toilet, right? For instance, you use a toilet every day. Some of them carry like 1.6 gallons, which is the tank. Now they have somewhere that you may flush, you use half, and then somebody else come and they could use the next half.
Yeah.
But then there's a way that the toilets, they call them the silent killer, in that if there's a problem with the tank, the water tends to be going out the toilet. So sometimes you find people saying they have a leak, but they can't find the leak. So in order, what we'll do is that, what I suggest to people is that turn the toilet off. Leave it for about a half an hour. And if you see all the water will move out of the tank, then that is the problem. There's another way where you could find that without turning off the water. There's a little blue thing that people try inside the tank to give them a, you get a tablet, drop it in. Don't flush the toilet for about half an hour. And you'll see a streak of the blue coming down inside the bowl. That's the problem.
Okay, so that's a great way to trace it. I have a follow-up question for you, because as we're talking about problems, you know, we lose water, at least the water gets turned off because we're going through that water shortage period and so on. And recently at my home, there was an issue with pipes in an area that you wouldn't really see it. I heard, you know, water leaking. It sounded like a river, almost like a waterfall under. And I was wondering how much of that could potentially have been contributed to because of the pressure with which the water comes back on in the morning. Is that doable?
A lot of that has to be with the, okay, what happened is that it's like a volume. It has water, the pipe, during the day. And then they turn the water off. Now, what is in the pipe in the building, unless you're not drying it off, that will run back into the government supply. Okay? So it left here in the lines. Now, when they turn the water back on, because the air is in the line, it compresses the air, the water, so you'll find sometimes you open a tap, you get this loud explosion. So what I suggest to people is that, especially like the shower, you finish showering in the evening and you know they're turning off water. You open the highest point, which is the shower. So when the water do come back, the air would escape at the highest point. Right? So if you don't do that, you have what you call water hammer. You get a bang, 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 bang. That could lead to breakage in the wall. You know, so I've been having a lot of that lately. Right? So I try to tell people to avoid that. Either you leave the flushing of the toilets in the night, because most weak point in that is the toilet. So if it comes back and no water is in the tank, it could blood the inlet valve, you know.
Okay. Is there training and licensing involved in becoming a plumber?
Well, to be honest, right? Not recently, not before, but recently you have to apply if you want to have a business. But there isn't any law to say that you have to be a licensed plumber.
Okay.
Not that I know of, but you could apply if you're at Inland Revenue if you want to have a business. So there could be established cars right now. People are asking for people with credentials and qualifications, right? Not just a skill.
Yeah.
Because as I said, plumbing is money. Money is time, right? So.
Indeed. I like that.
Definitely money, and prevention is always better than cure. So we're grateful that you were here today talking to us about some of the things that we can do, of course, to ensure that we, as you say, do not flush money down the drain or down the toilet, because water is one of those ways that we can do that. All right, so in closing, Cromwell, if there are people out there who are looking at you and they're saying, I didn't think that plumbing was a lucrative career, but I see Cromwell, he's been in it for 4 decades. It's clearly lucrative. He knows what he's doing. It's essential. People will always need a plumber. What would you say to them if they're thinking about getting into the field? What do they need to know?
Well, to be honest, right? I have right now, presently, I have my son, right? Who, well, I must say, teaching him this skill.
Okay.
I had my nephew for about 6 years, but he just decided to stop.
Oh, okay.
And when I said he was very good, I could have go to work and left him. So now I have to start. Now, what I would like is not just men. I would like women to get involved into the plumbing. Because, you know, right now it's very difficult to get a plumber.
Oh.
Because there's not enough people trying to get involved. As I said, in 84, I left in 86. Since I have left college, in 86, they haven't any plumbing course offered since that. We were the last to come out of technical college.
Wow.
Right? So
there is that need.
So there's a need for. So mostly the people who spin off as plumbers, they come from someone who was in it before.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I would like that the young people to get more involved in something like that. And especially women, not just men.
Yes.
Right? Because why I said women, I could give you a story. I had a friend and she had a problem with a toilet. The refill valve, she keeps saying that it's not closing off the tank. So I asked her to do a process elimination, turn the valve off, and see if it stopped. She said no. So I told her what to buy. She bought it. And I said, okay, I'm not coming by you. You know, you to take out the valve by phone. And she did that. And she was like, oh, I'm a plumber.
Nice.
Because sometimes simple things you could walk people through.
Yes.
And that's why you give people the opportunity to advance themselves instead of you going all the time. Simple things you could give people an opportunity.
Good stuff.
You know, so I would like young people to grasp the opportunity. More men, more women.